Good day everyone, I'm MJ, and so for today I will be discussing the types of editorial. So let's proceed to the first one. Hi, we have the editorial of interpretation. Editorial of interpretation. The main aim of this editorial is to put the news in its proper perspective. The paper may take a neutral stand on a specified issue and may give the responsibility of choosing a side to the readers themselves. Okay, so for this editorial interpretation, it explains the significance or meaning of a news event, the current idea, the condition, situation, theory, or the hypothesis. So the writer doesn't argue or criticize, but merely present both sides of an issue and leaves the judgment to the reader. And it merely interprets, or say, let's say, for example, the content of new memorandum issued by the principal. Okay, so alam po, that's the editorial interpretation from the word itself, interpretation. Okay, so let's proceed to the next one. We have the editorial of criticism. So by criticism, it means that the editorial points out the faults in a situation or in an issue mentioned in a news. It uses a scientific method by defining the problem, examining the evidence available, and then perhaps suggesting a solution. So it points out the good or the bad features of a problem or situation mentioned in the news. Oh, yun lang. And its purpose is to influence the reader, so it suggests a solution at the end. Okay. Criticism, editorial of criticism. The third one is the editorial of argumentation or persuasion. So this type of editorial is the most common type being used in the dailies following the principles of argumentation and debate. This type of editorial takes a stand in a controversial issue and tries to convince the reader to adopt this stand. Okay, so the editorial of argumentation or persuasion. So this is oftentimes called the editorial of persuasion. No, editorial of persuasion. So this the editor they argues in order to to convince or to persuade the reader to accept this stand on the issue. Okay, no, the argumentation or the persuasion. Okay, so let's have the fourth one, the editorial of commendation or the tribute. Editorials may be used to praise a worthy deed done by a person or by an institution. Thus, this type of editorial. The paper should qualify the tribute and therefore see that such contribution impacts on the lives of the reading public or the academic community. Okay, so the editorial of commendation say it praises, it commends or pays the tribute to a person or organization that has performed some worthwhile projects or deeds or the accomplishments. So, ayun po ang editorial of commendation or tribute. Okay, so let's have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth editorial. So let's have the fifth editorial, which is the editorial of entertainment. Ang bilis lang to, entertainment from the word itself again, entertainment. Some editorials also discuss issues lightly but often have a serious points gently and subtly suggested and sometimes satirically. Okay, it evokes a smile, of course, a smile, a chuckle, a laughter, while suggesting truth. Yes, its main aim is to entertain. Okay, no, it is usually short. Okay, yun lang. And then let's have the sixth editorial, which is the editorial of proceed. This editorial usually endorses a thought or course of action. It promotes a concept and an idea or an advocacy. This is called a campaign editorial. Okay, so editorial of proceed or the campaign editorial. Okay, so it's those which criticize certain conditions, then suggest a solution or change, or which just give a message or reform to reform without necessarily pointing out a problem or a bad condition. So that is the crusade, or which we call the campaign editorial. And the last editorial is, we have here the editorial liner. There you go, liner. So these are short, witty paragraphs, either serious or light. So it represents the identity and credibility of a brand ba. And it's the guiding thread of your content creation, and it allows you to transmit a consistent and constant message to your audience. Okay, so I have here the example of editorial liners. Ayan, so example, um love is looking up to find comfort in mother's smile. It's running and kissing father's hand to deserve his package. It's thinking and dreaming about a love done day and night. It's done things to please the other. It's answering and writing love letters on perfume papers. It's crying and brooding over careless words. It's rejoicing and walking on clouds on hearing sweet things. It's loving happily day by day. Okay, so ayun yun. It's just, ano nga, kasabi, again, sabi nga dito, witty paragraphs and serious or light. So that is the editorial liners. So those are the seven editorials that we have: the in the editorial interpretation, editorial of criticism, editorial of argumentation or the persuasion. We have the editorial of commendation or tribute, editorial of entertainment, editorial of crusade, and the editorial liner. So, ayun lang po yung 7 na types of editorial, but still have here the editorial of structure. So, we say editorial of structure is an editorial is similar to an essay that focuses on a specific issue or topic, offers a thesis and provides evidence and supporting arguments to convince its readers. The title clearly identifies the topic. The introductory statement includes the writer's view on the issue. The body provides supporting evidence and examples, and the conclusion restate the writer's view and provides final appeal for the reader would agree to that view. Okay, so that is the editorial structure. That's the end of my report. Thank you for listening.